Hey guys, since my first alternate interpretations video, I've actually been thinking of doing another one. This one I actually had planned, well not really planned, but I had the idea, the interpretations for this for a while actually. I thought I might as well just, do them already. Um, this time it's numbers, not all numbers because, there's infinity amount of them, and I don't have one for all. But it's for 0 through 9, the number 0 through 9, the single digits. And then some things that like numbers could go through, like equations and stuff like that. First off, I guess we'll just do 1 through 9. Also, this has to tie in with an idea I had for a movie called 7, 8, 9, which is a cross between Flatland and kind of Macbeth a little bit. So I'm gonna do that. 0 and 1 don't they're not really main characters in the movie. They have a purpose, but it's kind of weird because 1 and 0 are of course the only numbers in binary. So 0 will actually be the planet. Yes, I have a screwdriver here. But 0 will actually be the planet that all the numbers live on. Planet. Anyway, yeah, and meanwhile it'll have a giant, like, tree. Well, it won't be a tree. It'll be a giant number 1. And so it'll look a lot like an on symbol, like this, right? And that comes into play a lot later in the movie. But what happens is that you have 9. 9, of course, is the largest single-digit number. And 9 is kind of he's a good king. He's I mean, he's a monarch, but he's fair and he's just, and he has a popular sovereignty, kind of a religious sovereignty too. The numbers don't really have a religion per se, but they do have a kind of pre-agreed upon order. Because they're numbers, they have a hierarchy. So that happens. You have 9, and in the beginning of the movie, the number 8 mysteriously disappears. No one knows where he went to. He's just out of the picture. His body hasn't been found. No one knows if he's been murdered or what. But 8 is just out of the picture. So we have 1. No, you don't have 1. No, you kind of have 1. He's not really counted. You have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. Then later on to the beginning of the movie, 7. See, 7 is a crazy. He's a crazy motherfucker. 7. 7 is totally Fruit Loops, because 7 is a prime number, of course. I mean, so are 2, 3, 5. Yeah. But 7 is a prime number. Also, he's just very, very confused. He's a very troubled number. He doesn't know, when he multiplies. He doesn't know exactly, his charts don't really make any sense. Yeah, of course, he's just adding by another 7, but all the others, with 2, it's every even number. With 3, there's a good way to figure it out. You just add the numbers in the digits. Like if you have, let's see, if you have 27, you add the 2 and the 7, that becomes a 9. 9 is divisible by 3. With 4, it's, and you go on and on like that. But 7 doesn't have a thing like that. 7 doesn't have a rule. 7 is untethered. So he becomes a cannibal and he starts eating other numbers because he thinks that that is the way to add to himself, to make himself a greater number, is to eat them, but that's not how it works. So what happens is that he eats 9 because he believes if he eats 9, he'll become a digit greater than 9. See, in the movie, it's 9 is the highest digit. There's no 10, there's no 11, because then you're just repeating things. But so he believes that there is a single digit number greater than 9, and he wants to become it. He wants to be that number. So he eats 9 and he can't. So because 8 is out of the picture, 7 is now, even though he ate 9, and he's despicable, he is still now the highest number, which leaves 6, and in a very precarious position. Of course, if you turn 6 over, the number 6, it becomes a 9. 6 is the hero of our movie, by the way. He's kind of, he's kind of like a stereotypical hero. He's very soft-spoken. He's not really brave. I mean, all his life, he's an above-average number. He's above 5. He's higher middle class. He's had a pretty privileged life, but he never thought of himself as anything too special. So it's really his arc to flip himself over and become 9, become the ruler that the numbers need. So, and anyway, when I said about Macbeth, 7 is the Macbeth character, where 7 kills, the good king. And this brings a pox upon the land called the negative numbers. It's just a raining negative sign. Just think raining dashes, and they're attaching themselves to these numbers. And a lot of these numbers, they have, they have kids, and the kids will be represented by exponents, because, exponents is just like a smaller little number. And so they all have these exponents, a lot of the families and whatever. So yeah. So you see, 7 is king now. It's not fair, and the Earth is fighting back. 0 and 1 are literally fighting back until 6 could take his rightful place as a 9. And so throughout the story, there'll be things like negative exponents. If you don't know what a negative exponent is, to find it out, what you do is you find the reciprocal of your number. Let's say you have 4 negative reciprocal 2. What you'll do is you'll put 1 over 2 squared, which will make 1 over 16. No, 1 over 4 squared, yeah. And so any number with a negative reciprocal, his life literally flips. Negative exponent, his life literally flips upside down. He becomes something less than what he was. He becomes something, less than 1, which of course is the smallest single-digit number. But it's hard to explain. I mean, I haven't really thought about it much. I thought about it a lot, but I haven't developed it much. So you have, some numbers get afflicted with these negative exponents, and their whole life gets turned upside down, and everyone's cursed and complaining, So eventually, 7 picks up that he has to be overpassed. He picks up that the very universe, what they know, is fighting against him. So he sends out spies, and these spies take the form of linear equations. But not normal linear equations. They're linear equations that have pinholes in them. So what they'll do is they act like another one. Like, let's say you have, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but you'll have a linear, like an equation, and there'll be a certain x factor, or if you plug that in, both the numerator and the denominator of this linear function will become a 0, and you can't divide by 0, so you'll have a pinhole, which is... See, usually in a linear function, or any function at all, yeah, a linear function, you'll have, a straight line, no breaks. But with a pinhole, like these other ones do, it means there's a gap. There's a missing number. You plug this in, they equal 0. You don't get a result for that equation. So those will be kind of spies, performing this espionage to find out who will overthrow him. And basically the movie goes on like that. You're experiencing all these different numbers and whatever, and how they act. I never got into the other one. So 5, I guess 5. I haven't really thought about any of the numbers' personalities. I thought of 0, 1. Oh, 2. 2 is the 2 is kind of like a Buddha of numbers. He's very zen, very relaxed. He's kind of, I guess, clairvoyant in a way too. He kind of knows that everything will correct itself eventually. He knows that eventually something will intervene, and everything will get put back in place. Of course, these are numbers. There's always an answer. 2 is the only one who seems to know that, though. So basically, you have this whole thing, and through the movie, you have 6 trying to find himself. 6 is being placed in all these precarious positions as the second highest number, because 8's missing, 9 is dead, 7 is a Macbeth king type character. And so eventually 6 finds out about 1 and 0, who are the Earth and the pillar in the Earth respectively. And so he travels to the pillar. He travels to number 1, and he invokes number 1 to answer why is all this happening? How can I cure the universe? How can I bring things right into order again? And so 1 and 0 tell him about binary. How, you know, if you know how binary works, like you have the 1, you have the 0, and any combination of those can make any other number. They're kind of like gods. They're kind of like a yin and a yang, not a Satan and a god, but two like brother gods that work together to create the whole universe. So they explain to him his purpose and like that. You know, they're just kind of giving him guidance. And the reason 2, by the way, the reason 2 is so zen is because, of course, 1, 0 in that order makes 2. Actually, what is in binary? 0, 1, 1 minute. I actually never thought about this before. I'm going to Google this right now. Okay. Binary translator. Okay. No, that doesn't help. Okay. This is like a graph. What I just looked up. 1 minute. Translator binary. There we go. Okay. Text. No. Binary. 0, 1. Decode. It's a square. You know, that kind of actually makes sense. That 0, 1 would be a square. Wait a minute. That's just the text option. 0, 1 is 1. Okay, so yeah, 0, 1 is 1 anyway. So yeah, that doesn't even play a part. But basically that happens. We find out at the end of the movie that 8 has also visited as the prince. Has visited, you know, because he's the number. He's not really a prince in the sun type of way, you know. But as the second highest number, he has visited this, you know, the binary code before, 1 and 0. And right before his disappearance, he discovered if he flipped over, you know, this way of 8, and flip over this way, he becomes infinity, and so he kind of dissolved. And we later find out that he is actually the reason that the pox is happening on Earth is not necessarily because 7 took its place, you know, after 9 died and 8 disappeared, but 8 is kind of jealous, even though he's reached this kind of above state. He is still kind of jealous that he never got to serve as king. But basically, that's just kind of the idea. I mean, it's not really refined so far. I just think it's a little fun idea to toy with, to give stuff characters that aren't really, you know, characters, don't really have feelings and stuff. But what actually inspired me to do this is when I first learned about negative exponents. I just thought the idea, you know, of finding the reciprocal and then making it less than itself, I just thought that was so sad, you know, to be a number and just literally have your world flip upside down and then becoming less than what you were. I just thought that was just like so sad if that were happen to a human. And then I just kind of came up with the idea of all this other stuff, and I thought I'd share it with you. I came up with this idea like last year or so too. I've just been thinking about it. But yeah, that's the idea for numbers for 7, 8, 9. So I don't know what type of movie it's gonna be. I know it's gonna be like, I don't know what genre. I guess some sort of fantasy, but I don't know if I want it to be more comedic, because there's, you know, 6 becoming 9 just by flipping over. So I think it's gonna be like maybe a dramedy. I don't know. Anyway, that's that for that video. I've gone on way too long about this, what I feel a lot of people would say, stupid idea. So yeah, that's that.